Let's go.
Hey. You stay.
Yeah, that's with the trial.
Start
All right.
us off, bud?
Yeah. Are you filming on yours? Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Already gone.
Nice.
He's rolling.
Welcome to the Inspired Idiots Show. Today we have Daniel with us, all the way in Pattaya, Thailand. Thanks for coming out and seeing us.
Absolutely. Fuck yes.
We flew out just to interview you here, actually.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys did fly out here because I've been waiting here all by myself, you know, just me and the Thai lady boys just hanging out, and I'm like waiting for somebody to come here that I know, so
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Just a casual
Not
16-hour
just
flight.
not just people that come that you don't know, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, you made the ladyboy joke. I know. Finish it off, you know.
yeah, yeah, he did.
I knew I shouldn't have let
Yeah,
you wear
he
the
did.
pink shirt.
Finished it off,
great.
he did.
Oh shit.
Well, thanks for starting us.
Okay,
off.
so, yeah.
Now that Kelsey's good and uncomfortable.
He doesn't make me uncomfortable anymore. I just think he's stupid.
No. Or is he an idiot? Which one?
An idiot.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But he's
That's why we're all here.
inspired. He's inspired because you're his muse. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Baby.
He's feeding you your lines. Okay, so yeah, all the way out in Thailand. Very excited. Oh my god, I can't believe that we actually get to interview somebody live on this trip. Who would have thought? How has Thailand been for you so far? Let's start with that.
Fucking love Thailand.
You love it?
Fucking love Thailand. I'm for sure going to be living here in some capacity
Yeah?
in the future. Oh, for sure.
Nice.
100%. So either I'm gonna, do kind of what you guys did, where you left for the winter,
Yeah.
you know, and then travel. I was telling you I'm a global citizen, so I want to just travel around and do things. But Thailand might be my home base when I do. You know,
Nice.
it might be.
I love that it's had that good of an impression on
The
you already.
people are just so nice.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like there's probably no crime here. That's what it feels like. Like I walked down dark alley just to see if I can get mugged, and they wouldn't do it. I'm like, okay, well.
Just a social experiment.
It's more likely you're gonna get groped by a massage parlor, being like, "Come in, come."
That is 100% likely. That
Yeah.
there's a 80% chance of that. You
Yeah.
know.
That's good because it would have sucked for you to be like, I'm gonna come see you guys in Thailand, and then we meet up with you, and you're like, man, this place sucks.
What the fuck this place? Yeah. But as I told you before, like I am nothing if not super optimistic. So
Yeah.
there was little chance of that happening.
Yeah.
Even if it did suck, I find the glass half full. I find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem that way. I love that we got the experience yesterday of, for background, we all said we were going to meet at the 10 a.m. ferry. All of us pushed it. Alex and I actually thought we were going to miss the ferry, and we were
Right.
like, we had no way of contacting each other, so it was like, we're just going to hope that we get on it, and we're just going to hope that Daniel also happens to get on it. And then we come up the boat, we go upstairs, and immediately I just hear, hey, Kelsey. And I'm like, oh my God, not only did we make it, which was like a surprise, but I'm like, he's already here, and he's just waiting for us. It felt like fate.
Yeah. No, it did because when was I out late? I think I was out late the night before.
I think you said you
Probably. Yeah. So I remember I got up and I was like, "Fuck, what time is it?" And I saw your message, and she said, "Hey, I'm leaving, and I won't have Wi-Fi. So the last message I'm sending you, we're gonna be at the ferry at 10 o'clock." And so we rushed. So shout out to Jenny, my guide. She was fucking amazing, right?
Unreal.
Right? And we rushed to get there and didn't think we were going to make it. We had to rush to, back to her car real quick to get some things, and then rush to the ferry. We both were on, one motorcycle. So, and like I didn't have a place to put my feet, so my feet were like out like this. I thought I was like, if one gets broken, I guess I'm hopping, onto the ferry.
Yeah.
And then when we got there, it was about 45 after somewhere around then. But one of the boats, the boat that was right next to the boat that we got on, was full. As soon as we got there, they're like, "Oh, we're full." I'm like, "No, my friends are on there," because I could have sworn. I was like, "There's no way she's gonna be late."
Yeah.
It's like, there's no way. Like, I'm the late one. right? Kelsey's the organized one. She's already on that boat. And it said Cole Lauren. That's where we went, right?
Yeah.
It said Cole Lauren, so I was like, that's our boat. I was like, my friends are on. They're like, no, you're going on other boat. And so,
Nice.
so then we got on there, and I described what you guys look like to Jenny.
Yeah.
And as we were sitting down, like we are looking around for you, didn't see you, and she's the one that spotted you.
Yeah.
And she was like, is that them over there? And I was like, there's no, that is them. And so then we went to the edge of the boat, and as they were getting on, I'm like stalking them with my phone, with my camera, and like zoomed in. I was like, there they are, right there. And yeah, so she walked, and I waved at you from the boat, thinking that maybe you would recognize me. But I was like, no, yeah, you didn't. Then so I was like, yeah, she doesn't recognize me. But I thought maybe you might recognize me when you got on the boat.
Yeah.
No, she didn't.
I did when we walked up and I saw you and you were standing at the top of the stairs. I mean, I would have, like, when I looked you in the face, I feel like I would have been like, Daniel?
That's what happened. Yeah. So then we got to we were on the second deck, the second level, and so we got to the second, or you got to the second level, and then I was like, hey, Kelsey.
Yeah.
It was unreal though.
Yeah.
Felt good.
I love it.
It was a good moment. It was a moment.
So I want to talk a little bit about how you got into online business and kind of what you are still doing, but were doing before. And I mean, you already mentioned that you see yourself as like a global citizen. So is that kind of part of the reason why you decided to make that pivot and be like, I'm going to get into online business?
Not even a little bit, no.
No?
No.
That goes at all. Did wrong.
But, yeah, and also,
They're the shittiest researchers ever. You know?
I love this man. So here's the thing. I'm glad we went out because I barely hear him talk on the show. You know, it seems like, you know, and I love hearing you talk, but I'm like, I want to see this guy. This guy's got a personality on him, and I love it. And it's
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and it's fun. So, I got into online business. How did I first start? I was always fairly good with tech. And so I always wanted to do something with tech. And initially, I thought in my life I was going to be like a programmer or something like that. Work with computers somehow. And then when I first got my first taste of programming, there was a guy. It was when I was what? Maybe let's say 16. I was pretty young. And then my mom got with this guy who was a programmer, and he goes, "Oh, you want to program? Okay, let me show you." And so he sat me down and said, "You just type in this code, you know, and then this makes, I don't know, the ball move or whatever." And I'm like, all of it? And it was like pages of it. He said, "Yeah, just type it in." And so I'm sitting there like hunting and pecking and typing these symbols in, and I'm like, fuck this. No, I don't want to program. That's not what I want to do. But I want to do something with computers. So I became like a computer gamer, so I was working and building computers with that. And then eventually I went to work in a shop. I worked in a computer repair shop, building and repairing computers. And then I was like, fuck this. I want something that I don't want to be attached to a business, because I saw some guy selling. What was he selling? He was selling stuff that he built, like what is it? Not mopeds, four-wheelers, and just different things that he built. He was fixing them up, selling them out of his garage, like on eBay. And I was like, I want a job where I can, you know, where I don't have to be attached to a business, where I can work for myself. I was like, I want a job where I can work for myself, and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, well, I don't know what I can do, but I'll do something. But my main job is, you know, I'm a fireman. I'm a fireman paramedic. So as I was being a fireman, I also worked in the computer shop, and I hated that. Like, if I wasn't at the fire department, then I was at the computer shop, and I was like, this isn't like for me. But there's a lot of guys, like a majority of, let's say, firemen kind of live that life.
Yeah.
They work one place, they work with the fire department, and then they work a significant amount of time at another place, whether it's another fire department or the hospital, or, you know, they have their own business like painting or building boxes
Something on the side or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, everybody,
Okay.
most firemen have side hustles because we have a lot of time, because we work 1 day on and 2 days off. Well, that's my schedule. There's other firemen that work like, you know, 2 days on, 3 days off. So we have weird schedules that allow for actually a lot of, you know, free time, and so we get side hustles with that. But yeah, I worked in the computer shop, and when I saw that guy working for himself, I was like, I want to work for myself. And it took me maybe a couple months for it to click, to be like, wait a minute, I build and repair computers. Like, people call me and say, hey, can you come fix my computer? I was like, and I make more when somebody calls me to go do a job than I do like in a week, you know, at the computer. Like, what am I doing? And so that was kind of like one of the things that switched, where it's like, oh, I can work for myself. And so I did that for a little bit, and then I was like, I went back to thinking of, I want to do something online. I want to do something with computers. And so one of the first things I did that I can remember is I made my own drop shipping business. I did a drop shipping business for sports memorabilia.
Okay.
Yeah, and
wow.
so the mistake with that was that I got a beautiful website and everything.
Yeah.
I even helped with the design and whatnot.
Put all that time in.
Yeah, so much, like
Built it out.
photoshopped and then, you know, started it, got a couple sales and whatnot, but the thing about it is that I wasn't interested in it. I barely watch any sports. The UFC, right?
That's like us, yeah.
Yo, this is gonna be perfect. This site is gonna sell,
Right.
and I don't care about it.
Exactly.
I don't even know what I'm talking about right
Exactly.
now. No.
Yeah. It's, koozies,
Yeah.
and really, I don't give a fuck about this koozie. But you know, you should buy it. You should buy this koozie.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think it would have been successful if I cared more about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it had some success, and then I just kind of let it kind of drift off. Put a lot of money into it, a lot of time, a lot of effort.
When were you building that site? Like, do you remember the year?
Around, was that? Was that? Around 08,
08.
maybe.
Wow. So how long were you a firefighter and repairing computers for before you started doing the dropshipping thing?
2 years.
Oh, 2 years. Okay. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
started
yeah.
it, and then you're like, yeah, this kind of.
Yeah,
This kinda
just
sucks.
working all the time.
And not making enough? Like, was that also a motivator? Like, were you trying to make more money, or just do it for yourself?
I guess I wasn't thinking that much about making more money, because I was thinking, well, with the money I have, I'm actually doing fine with the money I have. You know, is what I was thinking. I'm like, so, and that's why so many things you'll find that I've done, I've just been, I'm fine. You know, like I haven't gone pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
You know, and but with this, for reasons of why I'm going to explain to you, I'm excited to be going pedal to the metal, you know, and but yeah, no, I didn't care that much about the money. I was like, well, fuck this. I'm not going to be working all the time. I'd rather have my free time than have extra money.
Right, and you
know,
didn't,
because I had enough money.
Right, and
I was still doing cool stuff.
Yeah, and it sounds like if you built a site that you weren't super passionate about, and then also you were making good money, like the motivation for you to be like, how can I figure this thing out, just wasn't really there.
Yes.
So how long did you do the dropshipping thing before you moved? Like, what was your next move after the dropshipping?
Right. That's good. So, how long? I did it for about a year. But not like a year solid. You know what I mean? So
just dipping your toes in.
Right. I would say, first couple months I was solid, but then I just let it kind of drift. I wasn't excited about it. And then what did I do after that? I'm probably going to go out of order. I'm probably going to miss something, but I have a business called Urbsea, Seeing the Urban Area, where I do video and photography to showcase small businesses. So I'd already kind of had my foot in the door with different small businesses and like talking to business owners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't new to me. And but when I did first start that, and it was new, I remember thinking, oh man, I put business owners like up here.
Yeah.
I was like, well, they've got a business. I'm just, just this. I got a job.
Yeah.
And but now, I realize they are just people, just like you and me, that have figured some shit out, and they're not, and there's a lot that's not necessarily smarter than me. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can do this. I can make it work.
Yeah.
And it was actually way easier than I thought to make a business work. Even with me like being a little disorganized, and I know things are better when you tighten yourself up and get organized and streamlined. And so that's part of the development process of me is getting more organized and things like that. But
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
no, go
cut you
ahead.
off. Do you feel like joining the local marketing vault helped you with that, or like how did that kind of help you pivot? I guess
That and we're jumping because but that I was in a couple of the programs before this one. I was in like Ty Lopez's program. I was doing Billie Jean's program. And what's different about LMV, there's definitely value in those other programs. We're not shitting on them. But what's different about LMV is that literally they are ready to hold your fucking hand. Even and I don't necessarily need hand holding every step of the way, but when I do need it, I'm like, oh, I can go to this live and ask questions and they're gonna answer me right away. Like in Ty Lopez's program, he had the same thing but it's like thousands of people on there, and maybe I might get one question answered, maybe. And so I remember one time he did answer one of my questions. I was like, yeah, that was me. Yeah. And so in LMV, I went in there. I'm like rapid firing questions. They're like, is this Daniel? And then Jason's explaining. He's taken 5 minutes to explain a concept to me after I ask a question, and then he answers another question. Like that's beautiful. I love that. And all the things, so much of what I did before this felt like it prepared me to be in this space and do well in this space.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Like landing page, building,
Right,
Shopify,
right.
talking to local businesses,
Right.
getting things going.
I'm like, oh, this is kind of familiar, and it's not that hard, and yeah, when you put it all together, there can be a lot of different pieces, but it's not really that hard, and I feel like a lot of different pieces came natural to me by that time.
yeah.
And I know right now I'm extroverted. I'm a lot. I can be a bit much. If you know what the Myers he's like,
I mean, it surprises me that you were doing like computer repair. Like you were actually building computers. You were doing the whole thing because it kind of cracks me up. I'm like,
yeah. No, I was shy because what I was going to tell you is I was shy. I used to be shy.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to be. I used to be kind of introverted, and I would teeter on introvert extrovert, and it used to be the only time where my extrovert would come out is when I'm competing. Like when I was telling the LMV, hey, yeah, let's wait till we have these contests, because competition fuels me. It really does. But when I'm playing volleyball or soccer or something like that, I'm loud as fuck. But I'm so loud, like yelling at people, the fuck are you doing? But all in fun.
Yeah.
And I rarely get actually upset. I might be like, what? Why did you? But I'm not actually upset.
Yeah.
But that brought out the extrovert in me. But other than that, I would just kind of quiet to myself.
Yeah.
And I figured out why. It's because I wasn't fully comfortable with myself yet.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was different than everybody else. I felt like kind of like an outcast. And so, then I wanted to kind of keep those things that were different about myself, to myself. But when I more fully accepted who the fuck I am, I'm like, oh, this is just who I am. And I remember one time, and I don't post on Facebook much, for the same reason. I'll say something and it doesn't resonate with anyone. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, I'm just talking to thin air. I'm not talking to anybody then. Mm-hmm. So I don't put anything on Facebook. And one of the things that I put on Facebook a while ago was I need to go and find other weirdos like me. And that's another thing about LMV. I think you guys are weirdos like me. I finally found weirdos like me. 'Cause I'm a creep.
I mean, that's why we do these interviews and why we do a lot of the Inspired Idiot stuff, is because at the end of the day, if you're any kind of entrepreneur, you're already different than most people.
Yeah.
Like you're already thinking way different than most people, and having that kind of community, similar to what they have in LMB, is very helpful for people to get shit done. Ultimately,
Yeah.
you know. And for you, I mean, when you were running these other businesses, was that like you were making like a couple thousand a month? Like, what do you think like the max you were doing per month when you're doing like the video type services for people?
Let's see. I would say, yep, the max is about a couple thousand a month. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there too. Because like, especially like I had a partner who took Ty Lopez's course, and I felt like it was so easy to make a couple thousand a month doing social media type things, especially in like 2015, something like that. Because people were like, I want to do that. Like, let's try and do something with that. And you're like, yeah, I'll manage it. And it's $1,000 here, $2,000 there, and you know, you could get it to like $2,000 to $5,000 a month. And you could be disorganized and just all over the place. If you're talking to enough people, people are just like, yeah, for sure.
Right. So, but I am about to, another thing that excites me. So I've just been, I've pretty much been saying yes to everything. There is, you know that movie with Jim Carrey?
Yes, man.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing since I've, been turned on to LMB. I've just been like, that sounds like it could work for me. Fuck it, yes. This, yes, and that has opened so many doors for me, and I think I've unlocked a next level door right now because I'm about to go into a certain program where I'm going to be. It's going to help me be super organized and streamlined.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to allow me to really go to the next levels.
So it sounds like, because I love talking to people about the things that they tried before they found the thing that they're like, oh, this is it. And it sounds like you kind of came to that similar dilemma that a lot of us do when you tried dropshipping, where you were like, I just don't feel awesome about this. Like you kind of felt like you were selling to people because at the end of the day, you're like, I don't even really value the thing I'm selling you.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were still kind of looking for that. You're like, I want to feel good about it, but I also need something that's going to kind of help, like, bring out that competitiveness in you and, help you put these structures in place. So it sounds like you found that now.
It sounds like I'm just starting it,
Yeah.
but it seems very, very promising.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm very excited about it.
Do you feel like tapping into that more extroverted side of you is like allowing you to kind of reach new levels in terms of business? Like, is that kind of what you found so far in your journey, that has been kind of the accelerant for you? That
gives me the advantage. So once I started being more extroverted already when I kind of first started these business. Like when I first started, which one? Maybe not Platinum Pro Sports. That was what it was called, Platinum Pro Sports. I still love that name. But maybe not that one. I was still a little bit more introverted. But when I was doing Herbsy, I'm still doing Herbsy, and I still love that. I love showcase. Like I love you see me take pictures. I love taking pictures, and I love showcasing things. And I think I see the world in a way that not everybody sees it. And I think all artists are that way. They see the world in a certain way, and they're like, well, let me paint it or take a picture or do something so people can see what I see.
The way I see it,
Yeah. And so I still love doing that. That LMV is going to allow me to do something that I love and allow me to exponentially accelerate, whereas I'm trading so much more of my time for money when I with Herbsy, and I'm happy to do that. But to answer your question, about when I started that, I was already more extroverted, and that's been my advantage. It's been my advantage is because I just don't give a fuck. Gary Vee is one of my favorite people of all time because I love his mentality. I don't give a fuck. This is what I want to do, and I'm gonna figure out how to do it, and I don't give a fuck that you think that it might be the wrong way. I just watched a video of his when he was talking about how somebody was saying, why do you curse so much? You know, you could reach so many more people. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
If you don't curse, you could reach so many more people. And he goes, because I am more passionate about giving you great information than reaching the most people.
Yeah.
Because I want to give the people who vibe with me great information, and I want to do it in an authentic way. And that's authentic to me. Authentic to me is to curse like that. And they're like, oh, so do you curse in front of your kids? He goes, fuck yeah, I do. And so do I. So do I. Like, maybe they'll get in trouble, I don't know, but my kids' friends, when they come to my house, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot we can curse here. Like, no, you know. And I love his answer to her. Oh, you curse in front of your kids? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, what if they go to school and curse? I'm like, well, then, you know, me and the teacher can have a talk. And I can be like, well, why does it matter more? Like, doesn't their education matter more? Like, let's just, so what?
Yeah.
The cursing thing gets me.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's a fucking word. Like,
Just, it's
a
communication.
Like,
It's
it
communication.
makes me feel bad. Like,
Yeah. I feel like, and I think that's one thing I love about entrepreneurs. They're strong people,
They
right?
have to be. I honestly think that's kind of, you tapped into something there that I feel like that actually weeds out a lot of people who maybe want to be an entrepreneur but aren't ready to yet, because you almost have to become that way. You almost have to decide to stop giving a fuck, because I think I struggle with this more than Alex does, but I think if you let your emotions get in the way, it really does hold you back in business. And for most people, the biggest one is just caring what other people think.
Right.
You have to just fucking go for it. And it sounds like you have that exact mentality where you're like, I'm not claiming to be like the best person here, but I'm just gonna go for it and figure it out.
Right. Oh no, because I fucked up so much.
Yeah.
I fucked up so much. I know I'm not the best.
Yeah.
And I know there's shit about me that could be so much better right now. And but I'm excited for the next level, because I realize I'm definitely at a different level from where I was, you know. So, but I had to fail my way into being better. It's like, okay, I don't want to fail anymore. Failing kind of sucks. So.
And for you, I mean, you've said a couple things like about how you want to do more of what you love and how you've had some failures. So for you, what do you feel like you've been able to tap into? Like, what do you feel like success is to you so far on the day-to-day?
It's a good question. It's a really good question. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to answer it directly just yet, because I haven't figured it out. But indirectly, what I do love, what I found out that I love, is helping other people. It's easy. I work harder helping other people than I do myself.
Yeah.
All the time. That's why when I have my own, you know, business, I'm like, oh, well, this is really going to help me. I'm like, but I'm okay. You know, you're like,
It's easy to give up on that.
Right. But if it's like, I'm gonna help somebody else, well, I'm gonna work until I figure out and I love figuring out problems. It's like a puzzle, you know. And so that's another thing. This is the perfect type of puzzle for me to figure out. Is figuring out how to make a profit for another business, but I don't. It helps streamline me a little bit, because I'm willing to go into the weeds of, oh, I'm gonna try this, and that for you. Yeah. But because generally we're taught in this business, we offer this, and this service. It helps streamline that for me, and I need that, you know. And so, and I'm niching down even more, because I've recently decided, hey, I'm niching down to lawyers. And then with this program, it looks like I'm niching down to only providing primarily one service for them. That's probably going to work well for me, because I need that, or else I'm going to be like, oh, I can do this, but because currently that's what I'm doing with you know, different clients, and it becomes too much. Even if I have other people handling it, I still have to. If I find out I have to oversee what other people do, double check on it, you know, and then there's some things that's not part of the program that I have to handle, because it's a problem that needs solved, and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta figure it out myself, and then I'll handle that, and that might not be something that I am supposed to do for fulfillment. One thing, for example, that I'll probably never do again is there's a person that I'll put this on me, I didn't fully explain to them that when I get leads for them, you're gonna have to work these leads. I just took it for granted that they fucking knew that.
Just assume that they would.
Yes, I thought that they understood that and thought they knew that. Their main problem was that they had to work the leads. I'm like, what? And then when I said, okay, well, what if I took the leads and then I told you what the job was? Would you? Oh yeah, because they were giving me all kinds of other problems around that.
Yeah.
But as soon as I said that, all those other problems magically went away.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, will you do that? Well then fine. I can get somebody to do this. And I get somebody to do that. Oh yeah, and this will be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, and as I started doing that, it's not working out. So I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna do that again. I'll never say never because I'll try almost anything.
Yeah.
Multiple times. I gotta get hit in the head several times sometimes before.
Most of us do.
Yeah, before I'm like, okay, I'm done getting hit in the head. But I don't think I ever want to do this again.
Right, and for you right now, just for the audience kind of tuning in here, your main business at the moment is basically, I'm going to generate leads now for lawyers.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to generate leads for lawyers. That's going to result in money that they're going to earn.
Yes.
Appointments booked, cash
Yes.
in their hand.
Yes.
Out of that money, you're going to charge them
Yes.
retainer, let's say, like
Yes.
a monthly recurring fee for you bringing in these leads for them.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So, and I think this is gonna be, I think it's gonna do very well. And then I'm thinking in the future, once I've got that really going, like I know I'll probably get bored and want to do another niche.
Yeah.
And so I'll be like, okay, well I guess now I'm doing it for you. So we'll figure it
Well,
out.
and the interesting thing is, like, because the business model that you're running is very much like value driven, meaning I bring you money, you pay me. It's very incentivizing for you, number one, because you're like, oh, I could really like change your business if I really just flood you with so many people who want to work with you.
Right.
You can maybe charge higher prices.
Right.
You can be more selective.
Right.
There's a lot for the business owner.
Right.
But for you, it's also like a double-edged sword, because you're like, oh, the more motivated that I make them by giving them all these leads, right? The better I increase their business, the more I can charge them over a longer period of time, and I have to work with less people.
Yep.
It's making the money.
So I'm looking ahead. I had this client, lost them, but almost a sad day. They were not very nice people, but there was a lot of money, right? And I was super excited because the money was going to be even that much more because we were going to do profit share, and it was, and we knew that we were going to be able to crush it and get a lot more money. But thinking ahead, what I've read or watched is that you have to be careful with that too, because you would think that with profit share, people would be super excited. Oh, fuck you! You're taking 10%, 20%. I don't care. You're making me this much more money. So the more money you make is fine. But I guess what happens, and I can definitely see this happening, is that once they start, say, if you do very well for them, and once they see they're cutting you like a $15,000 check, and they're like, ugh, but you're making them $1.5 million fucking dollars.
Yeah. That we actually, Frank on the show last week said the same thing. He's like, if you're gonna do a deal like that, I've learned that it puts you in a better position to be the person cutting the checks, because exactly that. He's like, you might find that once the profit gets really big, that person doesn't want to cut you those big checks.
Right.
It's just like, it seems like it's a natural thing that a lot of people do.
It feels like, for them, it feels like it's an expense. Like they're like,
Right.
oh, I have to pay this guy,
Right.
versus a gift that you gave them money.
It's a completely different mentality that I think, it seems like 70-80% of the people have that mentality.
Yeah.
It's,
Like they're
I'm
losing
paying-
something.
Yes, I'm paying you.
Yeah.
And I'm working with a client right now. That has that mentality right now. I'm like, but do you understand? And it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So that's what I read is, you, instead of having them be the one to cut the checks, you have to take control and you be the one to cut the checks. So I need to make sure that I figure that out and have that type of process in place where I know how to set it up where I'm getting the money and I'm cutting the checks, so that it's not it doesn't seem as big of a pain point to them.
Okay, so I want to go back a step, because before you got to the point that you're like, I'm going to focus on lawyers, and you were just getting started, and you're like, okay, I want to say yes to different types of clients. How were you primarily reaching out to people and getting those first couple? Because I think those are the most character building for people. How did you get your first 1 to 2 clients?
Well, that's what I mean by what I did before prepared me for this, that was easy for me. When people were like, when I learned what the business was, when I got on that sales call, and I basically sold myself. I was hesitant for a second. I'm trying to think of why, but that's right, because I got hit with a lead magnet. I bought something small, and then it led to something bigger, and I was like, I don't know if I want to jump, make that jump. And where was I going with this? I forgot, but let's backtrack. So maybe I'll remember. Your question was my first couple. So what prepared me is all my experience with other businesses before, just walking and talking to business. And so when I learned what the business was, I was like, I'm gonna murder this. I'm gonna murder this, because I understand some of the things that might be hard for other people to do. And I had already seen value in the small price point that I got. I already saw value there. So I figured, I was like, okay, well, if there's value, I know this next one is probably also going to have a lot more value.
You come in, you're like, hey, I'll make you some money. I'm already talking to business owners.
Yes.
I can make this pitch. So for you, what was that thing you did? Did you walk into businesses?
I
literally, the door?
I could have walked into so many businesses that I already knew and sold them, right? I like to do things hard mode for some reason. I guess I just want a challenge. I don't know. So I just drove around and I saw this one business. Like, this is a cool business. I walked in there and fucking sold them. It was a 2-touch. So I went in there. I just kind of asked questions about their business, and and I was genuinely interested. I think one of the different things about me is I am genuinely intrigued by a lot of different things. I'm interested. So I was interested about their business. I was interested about there's a slight nuance to their business.
What kind of industry was it?
Okay, I call her the shake lady. She sells shakes, right? She sells shakes, and I knew that I could do something for her. And I'm just brand new in the element, so I'm not fully aware of exactly how we do everything, but I have a general concept. And so I was like, I knew I could help her, but her caveat was that her shakes, the product is from an MLM. So there's certain restrictions that she has because of that, and she wants to move past using their protein so that she can go into different avenues of health, fitness, making her own products, yada yada, and expanding without their restrictions. And there were some Facebook restrictions that wasn't able to do.
Was she a local shop? She had a walk-in place, and then she would just.
She has a brick and mortar. She has a brick and mortar, and where I'm at in Ohio, this is actually fairly common. So what was funny is I ran into a problem of, I was like, I don't know how I can help her. So I went to a live and I asked Kate and Terry, hey, how can I help them? And they're like, she's affiliated with MLM. Fucking run now. And so, and I get it. She's like, no, there's so many things, so many problems, and so many restrictions. And I fully get where they were coming from, and I believe that they were right with the different problems, but I still took it as a challenge. I was like, I think there's still something there. There's still some way I can help her. And I did. I figured it out.
Nice.
And so I'm sorry, Kate and Terry, I appreciate your advice. It was wonderful advice, but still I was able to help her with, she was using this other thing for message marketing called Sentex, and she was only able to use just a part of her list. I'm like, well, I can do the same thing for you, and we can use your entire list, you know, in your CRM, and you know, from that app. And so
So you use
that,
ATB for that?
say what?
You use ATB to do that? Agency Toolbox?
Yes. And so yes. So that,
Nice.
and not Go High Level, GHL,
Right.
which is, you know,
Yeah.
ATV. But that and message marketing, I'm like, I mean, the two simple. It's like I can do that for her. Not that and reputation management.
Yeah.
It's like I can do that for her without, you know, the shake thing getting in the way. And yeah, so that's, you know, that was my first one, and yeah, no, it's kind of been, it's been awesome.
Did she pay you anything for that?
Yeah. So I just gave her a trial of but not free. I gave her like a half price trial, and I actually did some things for her, like free basically, but still my costs were covered. So
Yeah, I mean, we've been in the same boat with like free trials and like doing stuff, and I do find that this type of business is interesting because you can do a lot of free work, or at least they can cover the payments that are
Right.
needed, and they're not much, right? It's
Right.
pretty cheap. Like if you're sending texts,
Right.
emails out to
Right.
their list, right?
Right.
It's pretty cheap.
right.
And I feel like almost like, I'm sure this is what you're meaning by like you say yes too much. It's tempting because you could be like, I could just help everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could send this list out, lick
Yes.
split. You know,
Yes.
it'd be easy.
Right. Exactly.
People don't have context on why you say it like that.
Oh, let's give him context. I don't know.
It's just a weird thing Alex does, but like he only says it around me. So when he like says it in moments like that, I'm like,
What, lickety split?
I saw it on like a TikTok where a guy was like, lickety split, and I was like,
I love it.
I'm stealing that.
That's
me
there's
now.
the context. There
That's
it
me
is.
now.
there you
Yeah,
go.
it's mine.
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah.
Lickety split.
So
Mine.
so it sounds like in the beginning then you kind of found like a halfway point where you're like, I'm not doing a full free trial. I'll give you like a 50%
Oh yeah.
off.
And I feel good about that because that's something that it seems like other people learn later on.
Yeah.
Other people learn the hard way. And I feel good about not learning that one the hard way because I've heard other people's stories now of, I got, you know, all these people in free trials, but they don't buy.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind because I figured, I'm trying to think of why I didn't say free trial. But it just felt right. It felt right.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I can do it, you know, I'll do it for half price.
Yeah.
But yeah, it blew my mind because I was thinking, but in the future, you know, I'm going to do free trials, and I know anybody that I do a free trial for, and they see the results, I'm going to land them.
Yeah.
I was like, but when I heard stories of people not landing these people that they get free trial, I was like, how?
Yeah.
How is that possible? So I felt good that I, you know, haven't learned that the hard way. So
I mean, with free trials, it's like you still have to deal with business owners who could suck at business.
Yeah.
right.
And like in our experience, what we've seen is like we will literally look at the numbers that we've generated for someone and be like, look, this is how much, based off what you've told us, this is how much
Right.
money you made
Right.
off this campaign.
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, well, I only collected $400, not
Right.
$3,000.
Right.
Like, yeah, but that's how your business works, though, bro.
Yeah.
That's how it works. It's not just all one and done, baby. You know, that's how it works. And they're like, well, I don't know. And that's why free trials sometimes don't work. And I feel like the art in this type of business is because you can help everybody for relatively cheap, relatively quickly, because you can get them results, make a difference in their business. It's tempting to help them, but ultimately, you gotta select the business owners who can run a good business.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna make the most money with them because they are looking after themselves.
I think one of the biggest things too is learning to run your business with the least amount of headaches. Like you need to find the least amount of friction, because there can be because what's slowing me down right now is the friction.
Yeah.
The friction of, you know, dealing with people and dealing with situations that I shouldn't have to deal with. And if I was wiser, I wouldn't be dealing with.
Yeah, I think that's something that you only learn though in experience, because in the beginning, so many people are the way that you were, where they're like, I'm just gonna say yes. I just want to prove to myself that I can actually get clients. So you're more likely to take on people that like you're like, I have a feeling that you're not going to be a good partner for me, but you're more likely to say yes anyway in the beginning, because you're like, I just want this experience, I need the momentum. But then all it takes is one client who does end up being a headache for you to be like, I don't know if the profit I'm going to make here is worth the energy I'm going to expend on this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you make that shift, it feels like a level up. You're like, oh, I just hit through the ceiling. I'm on new floor now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm on my level.
Yeah.
I'm on my level.
Nice. I love it. So, do you have any other questions? I have a couple more, but
You go for it. I'll check, make sure everything's right.
yeah. All right.
And do I have?
You got
Can
water
you
right
get
there.
my? Oh, that'll work too. I think that was mine. Thank you. And also, is my sweat towel back there? I can feel it. Yeah. Let's go. Boom.
Sweat towels,
Mhm.
go.
Yeah. That's what I do. I sweat. Are we
Yeah.
Gucci? We
All
good?
good, all good.
All right.
So when did you officially join LMB?
Officially, I joined November 27th ish.
Nice.
26th, 7th. But I left. I went out of the country and I came back December. I didn't start till December 6th.
Okay.
Is when I started.
And how long do you think it took you from getting started to your first paid client? What kind of time period were you looking at?
Oh, bro. It was really quick, and so then I was like, I'm gonna kill this. Was it less than a week? Still a weekish, maybe. I feel like it was about a week.
Damn.
Yeah, something like that.
Nice.
So, but I'm mad because when Jason started talking about, different people who came through the business, he goes, oh, there's this guy who came in and he was in 10K Club in 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, tell me exactly what the fuck he did, right? 10K Club means 10K a month, right? Well, I was like, tell me what he did step by step.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I'm going to do that. And, I didn't do that. But that's fine. I still feel like, I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
You gotta have that
I'm
attitude,
going faster.
Yeah.
You know, if you're like, oh, I just want to make $500 a month. Like,
All
what are you doing?
Oh, but here's what I want to finish the answer question. So yeah, did the walk-in, but then that's what I should have just kept doing, right? And I did because if it works, double down on that. But me, hard mode, he was like, computers reach. Everybody does their stuff on computers reach, and so I was like, well, that'd be kind of cool to just not go anywhere, sit on my computer, and find people from there. Okay, I can figure this out. And just like apparently, it costs a lot more to work Upwork than it used to even just 6 months ago. Apparently, because there's some people because when I did the math and I was like, hey, is it literally this much a month, to do, because you're supposed to do 5 a day at least, and
Proposals on Upwork, right?
Yes, proposals on Upwork.
How much
5.
was it? Did you?
$350 a month. So it's about $350 a month. I didn't expect that cost, because it's fine if, okay, I get it's worth it when you're like, oh well, in a week I land 2 clients that give me $1,000 a month in a week. But no, it's a grind. It's a fucking grind to get good at Upwork. But I did. I just grinded until I got good, and then like offers just started coming, started rolling in. But that's the when he says just keep doing it. I think what needs to be added is just keep doing it and keep improving.
Yeah.
Don't just keep doing it and do the same thing. If you're not getting clients on Upwork, that means that you need to be better. That's what that means.
There's something you could be improving on.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, one of the biggest leaps was to go to Canva and make a what is that? Not proposal. Make a portfolio.
Oh.
Yeah, make your portfolio. And so we partner up with people in the business, and so we can say, hey, my partner gets these results for lawyers, and you put that in your portfolio. Me and my partner, and you make your own portfolio, and then you put examples of work that you can do for people up. That was one of the biggest jumps. And it's really it's a simple thing, and it doesn't take too much time.
Yeah.
So just put some thought into it, put some effort into it. You can suck at first. You can just throw something up that sucks.
Yeah.
And then make it a little bit better. Another one is putting up a video talking about what you do. And then making your profile picture look nice, and then your text.
Your like your cover letter that you write to them when you put in a proposal, you mean?
I wasn't talking about that, but
Okay.
that too.
All right.
That too. No, I'm talking about the thing, the description.
Bio?
Yeah, your bio.
Yeah.
Thank you. So your descriptive bio, make that a little bit better. Look at what other people do. Anyway, it's all these little things, that you're just not going to get right away, and you're going to fucking suck. But there's people that get lucky though. Even when you suck, there are people that I know. Somebody who just made a huge deal, just got in, just made the profile, made a huge deal, and I'm like, oh, I'm a little jealous, but kudos to them.
Yeah.
So that happens, and it comes in spurts. It comes like big things happen when you don't expect it. You just gotta keep doing.
You don't get lucky without actually like doing the thing though.
Yes.
And I think that the thing with Upwork is that when you do make it possible for people to get work from home without doing what you were doing, where you're like, I was driving around and meeting people. When you tell people, oh, you can do it from home via Upwork, people can get lazy with it really quick, and they don't do things like add an orange background to their profile image, or like you said, like gradually look at like, oh, okay, these ones didn't work, this one did work, and looking at how they improve, because they're just like, well, I just want to kind of take the easier way, I guess, so people can kind of get a bit of a slacker mindset, I think, with Computers Breach, because it doesn't involve like driving and shaking hands and putting yourself out there in the same way.
But what's weird is that's easier for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should just keep doing that. Yeah. But I was like, let me go ahead and spend a lot of time on this unnecessary challenge. But it's fine. I think it helps grow you. It's still been very helpful. Yeah. Got clients from there. So
I think that I don't know if this is like controversial, but I've heard that Upwork has been, let's say, the cost to do it, like you said, has doubled within the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. Like the cost for you to continually send campaigns out.
It's definitely.
And I kind of like that because I feel like if you, like, we live in these first world countries, and it makes it harder for people in third world countries to compete against us. And I feel like that may not be best for the end user, that may not be best for those people, but it puts another barrier of entry for people who do not want to spend the money to then meet these other people, meaning that the number of proposals per project goes down, and I have more likelihood to actually get a result.
Because it is harder to compete with people who are maybe, say, working from Pakistan and can offer to do it for half the amount.
Right.
Well, I mean, if it's just like purely like if someone puts up a job proposal and there's 121 people, you're not going to go through that, right? So you might go through the first 20, and that might be it. So now you have to spend money to get at the top. But if you just knock out half the people, they actually might go through more, and now you spend a little bit extra money to get closer to the top. And if you're talking about $350 a month to then reach out to about 120 business owners, right? Bid on 120 projects a month. I mean, you land one of them. It pays for itself.
And it did. It did. The first one played so it did.
I think it just comes down to like your attitude there, because I think it's the same with like when we talk to people on sales calls who are considering LMV. It seems like people can either look at the short-term investment and they focus on that, and that's telling you like my mindset is focused on losing that. If spending $350 a month completely turns you off of it, that says like, well, I'm not willing to lose that. So what I think that's saying on a deeper level is like, I don't know that I want to put the effort in to make sure I get that $350 back. It literally, I think so much of business, at least in my experience, comes down to like the way you tweak it in your mindset. Because you could look at it the way you said, where you're like, okay, $350 a month, that's some money, but all I have to do is land one. Yeah. And I will at least make that back.
Well, but here's the thing. I get it. I get the other perspective, right? Because I was questioning it. Because you say, because you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
You say, oh, when I land my first one, I'll make my money back. But then you realize, like, no, actually, no. My first ones, I lied. Stop. My first ones were actually cheap, because what happens is when you land your first one, sometimes it's only for, maybe $50, $250 or something like that, and but you're excited. You're like, fuck, I finally landed one. Thank God, Jesus. But then when you're thinking, wait, it's gonna take me, 3 weeks to land a $50 job.
Yeah.
Well, that's not worth, because when you do that, you're like, well, that's not worth $350 a month, and I get that, but you have to move past that and just kind of have faith. And I had faith, I guess, because of other people just kept saying, hey, no, it's gonna work. And I was like, I don't know, there's just something in me that's like, no, I just gotta figure it out and make it work. But when you land one client at, for $50 and you've been doing it for 3 fucking weeks, and that was the first thing you got, when I came in thinking, well, if I do this, I'll get somebody in the first week, 2 weeks at the most. I'll at least get one person, right? I'll probably get 2 people after 2 weeks, right? But one thing I remember Jason or somebody saying in the live is that, no, it was somebody in LMV that was saying, oh yeah, now I've been doing Upwork for a month and I haven't got a client. I'm like, what? And so when you hear that and you're thinking it's $350 a month, and you see that somebody hasn't gotten a single client, and so I asked Jason about that, and of course Jason, as he does, kind of went off. He's like, well, isn't it worth it if you get a $2,000 client? Do you think? Yeah, of course it's worth it if you get a $2,000 client, but that's not your experience. That's not what people's general experience is.
Yeah, I really think that it's all about the way you look at it, like Kelsey had said. And the way that I like to explain to people is like, no matter what business you run, right? Like, let's say a barber, right? You find someone who does you right, they get you looking good. What are the chances you're like, I'm gonna go to Supercuts down the road?
Right.
Just fuck my shit up.
Right.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have that person who just cuts my face every time they shave it. Let's do it. And so what you're really trying to be is
I went to the barber today, by the way. I went to a Thai barber. You'll see the pictures.
So fresh.
It's so fresh and so clean.
It's not that you're trying to win the one project. It's that no matter what the prospecting method is, you're trying to be that digital marketing guy that they call when they have a question. And you're trying to build that relationship with as many people as possible. You're trying to get them to tell other people about the good work you do.
Right.
And I don't care if it's Upwork, cold calling, you walking into businesses.
Right. Exactly.
You're just trying to become the person that they're like, if someone goes wrong with your car, they're like,
basically brand it. You want to brand yourself. This is the marketing guy. You want to go talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, her dad used to be a mechanic, right? Something goes wrong with the car, I could take it down to a store, a mechanic shop, feel like I'm getting, frisked a little bit, or I'm like, hey, Dieter, you mind checking this
You're
out?
my guy.
You know what I mean? Like,
You're my guy.
He's the guy, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do just with online business, and we're trying to be like, hey, you're trying to get more customers in the store, right? Yeah. Specifically using the internet. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to make more money per customer as well? Yes. Oh, well, could you imagine if all the customers who came in had a great experience, leave you a 5-star review? Would you want that too? Like, yeah, I want that. That's exactly what I do. And now it's like people know you for doing that. And ultimately, whether it's Upwork or anything else, all these things are just tools. All we're trying to do is get to that point with the person.
I'm glad that we're recording this, because the way that he just sold me on that, I'm going to use that exact type of that personality, I don't know. I liked it. Now I like the way that you the personality you put it. Yeah, oh, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Got him.
Got him.
Find your own way to say things that just like feels organic to you, and you're like, I'm gonna say it like that again. So that's actually kind of leads into my final question for you. I know you said that you're like Alex, a not super organized person.
Not naturally,
You're trying to just like kind of figure out what works for you and what you're good at. So in this process of you kind of slowly transitioning to being your own business owner, what kind of little like productivity hacks or anything like that have you found kind of helps you, especially with being somebody who does have a bit of a chaotic mind?
So having your space organized and dedicated, having a time and space organized and dedicated whenever, let's say you're going to prospect, you know, for this is what works for me. So if everything's kind of clean and neat and organized, right, and you know you're going into that space for that, then you're more likely to get into a zone. What is that book called? I think the book called is something about zone, but it's about getting into a zone. Whenever flow, I think it's called flow, and it talks about how basketball players, artists, whoever, people, great ones, great artists, great basketball, great football, they get into a flow, right? They get into a zone where you aren't even really thinking about what you're doing. You are what you're doing. And so when he's like, how did you, Stephen Curry, hit that three? I mean, he's this habit, it's habitual, and so it's easier for him to get into a zone where he's just, no, this is just what I do. I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, and but if you're great at something, you can do that. But that's kind of, you have to find ways of getting into that flow. You have to put in the reps and sets. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You have to put in the reps and sets so that it's natural for you to get into that flow. And then you have to kind of have a sanctified space for that. And so that, and I say have to, you don't have to do anything. If the jungle works for you and chaos works for you, do it. But I'm saying for me, if you're like me, that's what helps. And processes, and then these are things that you can find on the internet everywhere. That these are the things that the mentors are saying over and over. But it's just, I'm just here to tell you, I'm another voice to tell you that it's fucking true. That have a process. So I have an app, and when you interviewed, what's his name? Frank. When you interviewed him, and he talked about his app, I want to look into that too. But I currently have an app that I use. I know what I do to get to it. I'm trying to think of what the name of it is.
You can see it, but you can't
I see it in my mind. I double tap this button and it opens up. Todoist.
Okay.
So I have this app Todoist, and you can use it in almost any type of organizing app, but this is one that I found that is pretty cool, where I just set up a process of a workflow. I do this, and then if I'm not in the zone yet, it helps to just check that list. Okay, I do that next. But it helps you focus, because I guess that's what people call it, ADD. I don't fucking like it. But if you're like me, you can get shiny object syndrome very easily. It's like I think about, I want to do this, and then I need to do that, but then I need to do this, and then what I end up doing is that my process is very slow because I'm jumping from one thing to the next.
That's why having that clean desk helps. Because you're like, it's less things visually to pull my eyes.
Yes, and clean room, desk, everything.
Yeah.
Right, and then having that workflow set up, so then you go through it. But then there does come a point where you just feel like you're not doing it anymore. You are it.
Yeah.
You are prospecting. You are, learning. You are whatever, and it feels good. It feels good just talking about it. Feels good, and it just feels like you're flowing in the zone.
The right tool, I feel like, can be kind of a game changer in terms of how you operate. Like for me, so I I used to be a big video gamer as well. World of Warcraft.
We were talking about this.
In my
wow.
OBs.
Yeah.
I'd love it. Like just playing, but I'd be like a closet nerd, right?
Yeah.
And so what I found is like I need to make things into games. So when I look at business, it's a game. But when I look at my actions, I'm like, what are the daily things that would give me experience points? And how can I track that and look at it? And I found like people would use like Notion, and I basically went and bought this guy's template for like $90 because he coded the whole thing, he set it up, and then he had a step-by-step on how to actually set it up and do it. So I've been running that for the last like 15 days. So I'm like, okay, these daily actions, when I do them, I check them off, but it also correlates on a graph. So I can actually see myself getting better over time, and I can add more things to do daily.
Yeah,
and I'm
gamify.
going up, and I'm like,
Let's go,
I'm like,
Alex.
yeah, experience points, let's go. And it's been fun for me.
Okay, well, I'm adding that one. That's happening. Mine. So, yes, exactly that. And another way that, well, first I'll say this. I wholeheartedly agree with you about gamifying things.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, because I was pretty good in WoW. I don't know if I was better than Alex. Alex got a higher rating than me, but he also had a fucking cheaty ass fucking character. So anyway, I was pretty good. I was pretty good at the game, and like I'm like, if I can just be this good at like put this into life, I'm gonna fucking murder. Right, and it's true. It's true. And if I put that much focus, time, energy into life. Now, the thing is, people play games because they're just much easier than life. Mm-hmm. Life is a lot messier. There's a lot of other things to factor in. But I think the reason why World of Warcraft is such a successful game is because it is so much like life. There's so many different things that you can do. And you can choose to focus on, okay, maybe PvP or PvE or fishing or the auction house or something like that. You can choose, but there are all these other options. And so I think that's why those MMOs are so great, is because they're a lot like life.
You just feel like your character. Like when you put hours in, like I have like, I don't know, like 70 days in on one character, 100 and something on this.
Exactly. We're talking days. We're talking 24-hour periods.
Playtime.
Yes, playtime. This is how WoW people roll. Look at her. Look, Kelsey's like, these fucking nerds.
Yeah, but it's just at some point you feel so attached to the character because you're like, I put so much time into this. This is what I'm doing. I'm working on this next thing. This is my next step. This is how I get better. And I felt like once I started looking at life like this game, and that's actually why I'm a fan of business, because I feel like most people walk around day to day, they have a routine, they make some money, but they have to go to work to do it. They have to do all these things, and they never spend time to grow themselves. They never spend time to get experience points and spend them on something. They just do the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, well, if business is a game, and I can make it a game, I can just by keep playing, I win. Like that's the goal, is to keep playing. And it lets me get better at life because now I can do other shit. Mm-hmm. And for us, I mean, if we just work regular jobs, wouldn't be here right now in Thailand because, we'd be doing the thing.
Yeah, working that job. The second thing I wanted to say, because I knew I wanted to stick with the World of Warcraft references for just a little bit more.
Just not like offended by it.
Almost done. Yeah, but she's like, click. Okay, almost.
Thanks, we just lost people's attention.
But one more thing. For all we're niching down to people in business who have played WoW.
We just niched down in the audience.
Maybe not as much as you thought.
Could go the other way.
So the last one, one of the characters I rolled was a warrior. So I played a warrior, and one of the things that a warrior does, he has this thing called rage, and you have to spend that rage, and if you don't, you're wasting it. Your rage meter can get full, and if you don't spend it, you're wasting it. Because if you want to maximize, your damage per second, your DPS, you don't want to waste your rage. And what helps me is to think of life like that, because a lot of times one of the things I like to do is optimize, and I always over optimize, like fucking always. And so that's I need to. If you're like me, I need to make sure. Okay, when I'm optimized enough, when I have this much rage, I need to use it. I need to do. Okay, instead of like in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, they call it sharpening the sword.
Yeah.
Right. So I hone my sword to fucking razor sharp edge. Right. But at some point, I just need to start fucking cutting. And but I think about the warrior and like just use your rage. What are you doing? You have so much. So yeah, that was the last reference I wanted to make.
Yeah.
So
No,
with that.
I mean, I'll let you guys.
No, go ahead, Kelsey.
I don't fucking know what to say. I don't know World of Warcraft references.
No,
Can't
we
contribute to
can.
this.
That's what I'm saying. We can switch away from World of Warcraft. We're switching away.
If we have to.
Because we could talk about this. I'm surprised we didn't keep going when we started talking about it before. I'm sure we could talk about this for fucking ever. But yeah. But I had to quit though. I had to quit. Like I had cold turkey. Oh God, for sure. I literally had to because I left and came back like everybody does too many times, and then I had to delete my characters.
Oh.
Had to delete. I know.
Oh,
I thought about selling them because I could have got some good money, but I was like, no. I need to delete them. And so because it was one time, because what I did is there was some rating content, because I did PvP and I did fuck. I thought this isn't okay. I'm still going.
You thought you were done, and you realized you're not.
I'm not done. We're not done. Sorry, no. But I PvP. I did a whole bunch. Damn, did I just go off track? I think I did. What was I?
You were saying in order to be able to quit the game, you have to delete your characters.
Yes. So I was rating the PvE. Was it something versus environment? PvP is
People
person
versus environment.
Person versus person. People. Okay, so I was doing PvE and PvP, right? And I just wanted to be at the max levels on both those. And so in PvE, like in the regular servers, I wasn't at the max levels. So I walked away, but when I came back, I was like, you know what, let me get in. There's servers I can go on where they make things super easy, so you can just experience the higher level dungeons and whatnot. So I went to do that, but then I found a PvP partner there. And what did I roll? What was I doing there? Was I a paladin? I was something like fucking stupid, and I wasn't. And because I was like, fuck it, let me just do the cheaty characters, all of them except for the Death Knight. Fuck the Death Knight. Fuck him. I'm not gonna do it. But he was the Death Knight.
No, I never was. No.
You never what? Oh yeah. Okay. I thought you said you were.
I had partner.
Oh, your partner was. That's right.
For me, I felt like when I wanted to quit, like World of Warcraft, like the game side of things, I always kind of came back, but every time I would like quit, it was because I realized that my life was more important than the game, in the sense that like, oh, I like playing this game. I like spending all night playing this game. But the problem with spending my time playing this game is that my life gets worse over time.
Yep.
What if I could just make my life the priority and then get that out of there? Like get the game out of there and actually live the game. And I feel like what I've always tried to do in looking at life and business, like I said, is make it a game and try to incorporate game principles in my own life, because that I know I get addicted to. I love the high. I love increasing my levels, my power, all this kind of stuff. And I love collecting all the items, doing the side quests, all that stuff. I'm so hooked on it. And now when I look at a situation where I feel frustrated and I'm like, oh man, this is like brutal, like this sucks, I just look at it like a game and I'm like,
it's the grind.
That dungeon, he got me,
it's part of the grind.
I couldn't get past that boss,
But if we keep grinding, you eventually do. Oh fuck, I just did high jump. But this is where I went on that like cheat server, and I realized I was thinking, okay, since it's a cheat server, I can just hop on, hop off. Well, I started spending inordinate amounts of time in that server as well. And there was one day where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my dailies. I'm just gonna do my dailies. I'm gonna hop off. Of course, I've said that before, but I was like, I'm serious this time. right? And 24 hours later, I was like, I need to delete my character. And so it was daylight. I remember I was morning, and I'm like, fuck, I'm still up. And then you get this weird feeling. It's almost like you're over caffeinated. You know, you get this weird feeling.
You like
stay up.
buzzing?
Yeah. And I'm like, I need to. I deleted my characters, and it was a process because they don't let you just delete them like that. No, so and I had multiple characters, and so and somebody gave me their druid. I had always been wanted to be a druid because a druid you can switch forms real quick and you know it made doing dailies and anyway it made things fun. So I got a druid. I got everything like that I wanted and everything, but now I'm on this game all the time, and yeah. So after that, I went to delete my main character, and it was a process. But then it said that I had to wait for something, and I literally had to get up, walk away from my computer, so that I didn't cancel it. So I didn't say, "Psych, no, don't delete it." I literally walked away from my computer, and I had to do that like multiple times so that I can delete all my characters. And that's when I quit. And my friend said he saw, because it still shows the last time that you were on to your friends. And my friend just a month or two ago saw, oh, last time on, 13 years ago, I guess you really did quit. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah.
So that's my.
And I just want to tell you this right now while we're filming. You did give me an idea how to improve my little accountability system, because doing the daily things I've been doing, right? Like my little daily, I worked out today, I planned tomorrow, all these little things. I just call them dailies. It would be perfect.
Ah,
perfect.
yeah.
Doing the dailies.
I do my dailies, man.
Just doing your dailies. Fuck yes. Yes, cute. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yoink.
Mine.
Oh my god. Well, I mean that's all the questions I have. I feel like we're gonna probably go have a night out in Thailand now. And
are we, or am I gonna ask you questions?
we can
Well,
flip the script.
we could you could ask us some questions.
Yeah.
What I would say is that we could leave our stuff here if someone wants to sit here, but I think we should boop over to 7-Eleven, grab some drinks. Because the hangover is coming for me from last night, and I feel like I need to get this thing going.
I need to pee, so do we want to keep it all rolling, or do we want to pause it and do a new
just
take?
stop and then
Yeah,
make sure
pause
everything's
it.
good.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
just leave everything here. I mean,
Yeah.
one of us can just stay here.
Yeah,
Cool.
I gotta go to that.
I'll be the one to stay because we almost made her stay by herself. She's like, I'm fine. It's fine. This is fine.
I did stay by
no,
myself.
you didn't. I stayed with you.
Up here?
Oh, when we went down,
you
though.
guys
when we
went down again.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I was talking about yesterday.
Oh, at the beach.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's good. We'll get shit.
How long was that? By the way?
Part 2.
An hour 17.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'll just stay.